stage. Silly games of second guessing. I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. Would have kept me from the one I love today. One street over there's a life I could have known. Things aren't always.
This is Scotty Inman. You're listening to Middleton.
You're having a wonderful day. And we're midway through. Guys, 2 weeks from today is Christmas. Am I right? Oh, my goodness. I've got Rachel and Sarah here from staypositive.news. But it's 2 weeks from today. Yeah, pull that microphone right to you, Sarah, babe.
Yeah, Wednesday.
And it's woo. Well, and I was when I came walking in, I feel very disheveled today because my Christmas with my kiddos and my boys, my daughter-in-laws, and my grandbabies is Saturday. And I asked for that, I asked for that because I like getting it done. But this year has been just kind of, I don't know. And I'm always a hot mess when I'm trying to get ready for something special. It's just the way I roll. But I'm learning to set aside the things I'm going, okay, I just don't have time to do that. Get it off the list and just move on, right? So I've learned to kind of do that. My poor husband just encountered my wrath yesterday. I was like, everything was just, I had to apologize a few times for being just difficult yesterday. But I'm just kind of feeling that stress, that pre-Christmas stress, because I'm like, well, I don't have this done. I don't have this done. I'm like, well, those things don't have to be done.
Yeah.
They don't have to be done. Just
right there with
enjoy
you.
your time. And I'll say it again to those of you who have adult children, let go of the day and embrace a day around the holiday, and it will bring so much peace to your family. I encourage a lot of boy mamas to do that because a lot of the girls want to be with their moms. I did the same thing. My mom got favoritism. It's just what you do because you're closer. You tend to. And I didn't mean to. It just happened. And just let it go, and you will have so much more fun. You take the pressure off of your sons and your daughter-in-laws. You're just like, it's okay, man. We'll just do it another day. And I just see a different joy in our family because it's not like they've got to go here on Christmas Eve and got to hit 2 places on Christmas Day and run around and not even really take a breath and enjoy the message of the holiday. Mm-hmm. It's about that renewal, that birth of Christ, and how we're renewed every day through his redemption. I mean, let's just come on, let go of the day, y'all. But anyway, if I seem a little stressed, it's because my Christmas is Saturday and I'm not ready.
So what were you preparing?
Last night?
Yeah, you were cooking.
We do. I have some very sweet friends down in Dallas, and I'll never forget, I was asking them, I was like, what do y'all, because they have just a really big family, what do y'all do for Christmas? We do fondue. And I was like, when I was working down there, and I was like, that's a brilliant idea because you want to do something different, just like you just want to do something different and special. So we started doing fondue. So the big challenge is because it's a lot of prep, a lot of chopping and things like that, and you got to have things to dip, and you got to have. I do a chocolate ganache dip for the dessert, and you want to have like things to put in there like pretzels and all that. So I made my pretzels over the weekend; those are in the freezer. But then we also
you made pretzels.
Oh yeah, I make homemade pretzels.
They're
better than all of us.
They're fabulous. I could teach you to make pretzels, and they're so good. I've been making them ever since my kids were little, and the best ones are sourdough pretzels. And I just didn't have sourdough this year. I just didn't want to fool with it. But they're the bomb. But but I also discovered a recipe. I don't know, on Martha Stewart many years ago, and it was a flatbread recipe, and I absolutely love that naan bread.
Yes.
So expensive,
So good.
but it's so easy to make. It is so simple to make. And so I had to go to Celebrate Recovery last night, but I knew we wanted to have the bread, just because we can put it in wedges and you can dip it in cheese. You can just do all kinds of fun things with it. And it's great in chocolate too. I mean, flatbread is. I mean, let's just be real. You can put it in anything. So anyway, before I went to Celebrate Recovery last night, I came home, whipped up like 3 batches of this stuff so it would rise because it needed a couple hours to rise. And then so when I came in last night after Celebrate Recovery, I had to prepare it. I had to roll it out and fry each one because you just pan cook it. but and I say fry is not really good. You just have to do it on a griddle with just a little bit of nonstick, and it's fabulous. I'm gonna tell you, super easy.
I'm hungry.
I
right
know. I was
Super
hungry
easy.
when I came in here. Now I'm
Super
like,
easy.
really
Oh my
hungry.
gosh! If I should have brought y'all a couple.
Well,
of
that's
pieces.
why you're stressed out, because you're home making pretzels.
Pretzels and bread.
and
Those
bread.
things are
Yeah.
done. Those things are done. But then last night I was like, well, I haven't. There's candies that I make that they like, and I haven't made them really, and I haven't done peanut brittle. Last time I really did peanut brittle, it was right before my sister passed because she wanted some peanut brittle, and I used to make these. I make these caramels that are just fabulous, and I'm just not gonna have time. I'm just not gonna have time, and so I'm just having to set some of that aside. And since we'll be seeing them around Christmas, so I may take them some later and make it maybe next week or something like that. So I'm just saying, okay, that's not going to happen. We may not stuff stockings this year, because I just don't have time to go do stocking stuffers. I've got them all a gift,
Yeah.
and good food and hang out. So and they're adults. I mean, it's the grandkids to take care of now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So but I was making flatbread last night. I
There
can
you
teach you
go.
just real quick. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
Listen, I don't have time for that at all.
You'd be surprised. Your boys would love making it with you, and it is just fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to make. It's so easy. It's
We've
so
done
easy.
some cookie decorating. I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. So we're in the cookie decorating stage right now.
I gotcha.
But I mean, I'm with you. I feel like this season has been so busy for us. And I just love to bake, and especially around the holiday season, I love to give baked goods to people as gifts. And, right now we're getting ready to move. We got our house under contract.
Oh my
and-
goodness.
And we're going to be moving January 3rd. So we're working on getting a bunch of stuff ready for that. And then it's Christmas season. And then my husband has a birthday on Saturday, and my son has a birthday on the 23rd. And then my mom's coming into town. So many different things.
That's always. I thought I was busy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm thinking like, oh, I really want to make my banana bread. I've got this great, fabulous banana bread
Yeah.
recipe. Really want to make it, and I'm shopping on Amazon for like cute little gift containers, and
Yeah.
I'm about to hit purchase, and then something strikes me like, you do not have time to cook homemade banana bread this year, Rachel. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, seriously.
slapping myself in the face, and I didn't buy it, and I was like, you know what?
Take the pressure off.
I
Yeah.
hope everybody knows I still love them, even though I didn't
Yeah.
make them banana bread. Maybe I'll make it in like, February when I have some
Make-
more time. So
Valentine's something, and I have done that before, where the
Yeah.
kids could, they love, and my husband's like, "Don't forget Buckeyes." I'm like, "I know." He's like, because that's his favorite, and as we were talking about, I said, "Are you going to be mad if I don't make Buckeyes this year?" Number one, we're both losing weight, and we're doing well, and I don't really want to bring it in the house
Yeah.
because I know I will do. I'm pretty good about just leaving it alone. He won't. He will not, and I just, if it's in the house, he'll be So I'm like, I don't know if we need to make that, honey, but yeah, and you just kind of go, you know what? It's okay. You don't. There's this nonsense that I used to watch Martha Stewart. I loved Martha Stewart. I know she's kind of polarizing, but
I love Martha.
I just love her.
Free Martha.
Yeah,
I just love
know,
Martha.
I love her
But
stuff.
that idyllic, that you've got to have this perfection going.
Yeah.
You got to set that aside. And I used to I wanted to make the perfect Christmas for my kids. And I wish the mindset I have now, I wish so much that I could have had when they were little. It would have brought me so much peace, so much shalom. And, but I'm just going to try to help them see it, So maybe by me going, you know what, and I don't know, I may still do Christmas stockings. I don't know. But if I don't, I'm going to be like, hey, I just didn't get time. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It is okay.
Yeah.
It is okay.
And and it's like, I just, it's all okay. If nothing will ever be perfect. That's one thing I've learned. When I have people over to the house, sometimes I wouldn't want to have company because the house was, and I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I want it to be, presentable. But if this isn't done, I'm like, oh, okay, just let it go.
Yeah.
So that's my old wisdom to you young girls
that-
here.
I'm hearing
Yes.
Elsa in my head.
There you go.
Let it
go. Let it go. But you do. If
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
will just understand, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just have fun. It's about that fellowship. It's about the fellowship.
The moments together, right?
Yes,
the important part.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I don't know what my husband's going. He's going picture Cookie Monster. He's like when he gets on here and starts making comments, I never know where he's going to go. He's like Cookie Monster. I guess that's what.
Good
he's
morning, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know where Paul Rainey is this morning. He usually chimes in. Those are the ones that always check in. I haven't heard from Paul this morning. So good morning, everybody. 1100 WSGI, one street over. StayPositive.news. It's their time, but I just came in here talking about. I mean, I think I still have flour on my shoes. I mean, I'll be honest, from last night because I came straight in from church and just started. And I was putting my boots on. And I was like, I need to wipe these off. I was like, I'll do it at school. I don't have time.
Love
You're
it.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a story to tell.
Yes.
A story you can tell.
Miss Vivio, why do you have white stuff all over your shoes? It's flour, honey.
Yeah.
It's flour.
Promise. Yeah.
Anyway, so, all right, ladies, where are we going to go this morning?
Well, I think we kind of already touched on holidays, so you want to kind of spin off of that because Miss Mabel had a great topic that, it doesn't feel positive. The topic doesn't, but it's something we all deal with. And then how her wisdom that she gives, and I laugh just because she's so funny in how she gives her wisdom, right? So authentic and Southern.
Yes.
Is positive. It helps us, it helps one another. And so anytime we can join arms together and kind of support one another is a positive thing. So she addressed, how do you handle the holidays when you have a loved one that is gone? How do you handle that when maybe celebrating or traditions that you do, like you were talking about the caramels, all those things, maybe that triggers a memory, which is then sad and not something you want to dwell on. So how do you do that? And that's kind of what she talked about. So probably other people have experienced that too, LaVern, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my mother passed away the day after Christmas last year. So this is our, we had to change, not being with her on Thanksgiving. This is the first time. I mean, but we've started new traditions and the same thing with Christmas, and trying to stay connected with that side of the family. My brother, my sister-in-law, my nephew, all those people, because we would come together to see Mom. That's the only time I saw them. So now trying to navigate those waters, it's difficult. It is difficult. And we have the peace of knowing my mother has been in deep grief ever since my dad died very suddenly in 2012 of an aneurysm. And that just ripping away was so hard on all of us. And then she lost my sister, a daughter. So she's been living in a place of grief for so long that it's just so hard to imagine when you have your loved ones and things, to have your soulmate and then to lose a child. And so I know, I don't have any doubt. I mean, she died rather suddenly after she had cancer, but she was doing well, we thought, and some treatment just is what did her in, we feel like, but just her heart couldn't handle it. But so we really thought she was going to be fine. And just for her to just all of a sudden be gone, that was very difficult. But in the same sense, when you get to the other side of it, there's that piece of knowing, oh man, she's home. And she's rejoicing at that reunion and just encouraging us in that cloud of witnesses. And, so you have that piece. So that's a little different. But I think about, I have a friend that we do mission work with that was tragically murdered last week down in Mexico. And then there's another young friend from, or a family from that used to go to church with us. They had a granddaughter that dropped, she was the girl that ran track from Good Pasture.
Yes. Yeah.
I just can't even imagine what they're going through. I cannot even fathom what they're going through. And so that's a different situation. So do you want to share with us what Miss Mabel had to say?
Yeah, well, I don't want to put words in her mouth, so I'm going to pull it back up
I
again
gotcha.
too. But one sentence she had that I just really loved is she reminded everybody that grief is a funny thing. It hits you in ways you never expect. And I think that's important to give ourselves grace in whatever it is we're experiencing, right? Especially. And she encourages people just to recognize that your grief is going to influence a lot of your decisions, especially, what they say, don't ever make a serious decision before 3 years is up, right? When you've had a tragic event because of that. So just be aware of that. And probably it's not a great time to just chuck all the traditions, right? You want the things that you can continue with are good. And in a way, for our girls, because we took care of my father-in-law when he had Alzheimer's. And so when he passed away, he was very much a part of our life. And so for them, if we had just kind of totally deviated and didn't do the regular things that we had done with him, right? Because they hurt, I think it would have affected them even more. I mean, I think it was almost part of the grieving process, like being able to walk through that together as a family was very therapeutic to go through those moments. And, she ends, if I could just share this part, I've cried my own tears writing this for loved ones who have been passed on for a long time. It's a beautiful thing to know the love of someone so strongly, to feel the pain of their loss many years after they're gone. Merry Christmas, sweet girl. You're in my prayers.
Oh man, I'm like tearing up.
know.
Yeah, and
Reading
honestly,
that
when
right
I was
now.
reading through it because
Yeah.
I was checking some stuff out, before you guys came in, and it does. It just, it's just different,
Yeah.
And as much as I know to be absent from here is to be with the Lord, and so I'm thrilled for Mother and for my sister and my dad. But those it's weird, it just being me and my brother,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, our nephew, we've got all of our nephew and our nieces, and we've just got all that. That's one thing when you really start and sit and think down. My husband and I, we were kind of looking around at our family and the number that we are now, and thinking about that moment we met, and now here's what has all because two people fell in love is what they like to say.
Yeah.
And I look at that in regards to my parents and the legacy that is. And I look at in regards to that as to their parents. And you just go, wow, look at the tapestry of this. It's beautiful, And so you just kind of look at that. And for those that are believers, again, to be absent from here is to be present with the Lord. My kids at school, we were talking, and I'm 62. I just turned 62, and they're like 15, 16, 17 years old. And we were talking something about how life is when you're in your 60s. And I said, by the time you get there, I'll be long gone. And they're like, that's awful, Miss Vivio. Quit saying stuff like that. And it freaks them out, but they don't understand when you have hope, you have all that peace. And it's just, you're just like, it's okay. It's okay. I want to hang out. I mean, maybe I'll be here at 110. Sure. I'll see you then. I don't know, maybe. But, if God's got something for me to do, I want to hang around, and anything I can do for my grandkids, great grandkids, anything like that, that's a beautiful blessing. But, we know what's coming next. So that peace, you have that a lot. So
Absolutely.
anyway, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today.
I think it's talking about your grief and your emotions is a way to honor that person who has passed, and and even if there are some traditions that you're just not feeling up to continuing it, maybe just this year, I think it's okay. Everything's okay, because like you said, grief is, or like Miss Mabel said, grief is a funny thing, and I've just known grief in my life where I'll be feeling like so good, and then the smallest, most random thing will just set me off. And sometimes I'll know immediately, like, okay, this is what happened, this is what's causing it. And sometimes I won't even understand. And then I'll be like, oh, wait, yeah, it was like actually 3 years to the day that my great grandmother passed away. Like, no wonder why.
Right.
It's kind of almost embedded in our soul when we love someone that much. And I think, grief can draw people closer together. So I would, just recommend, like, draw closer to those who are near, and honor that person and love on that person and miss them together during that time.
Very good. Very good. Well, and kind of piggybacking on that, another story that you had in there was about some of the volunteers that came together and prepared meals and all of that for Thanksgiving. And my middle son, Jedediah, was really, they didn't have anywhere to be on Thanksgiving. Neither did we. I mean, and we could have gone to different places, but we chose not to because we had ours the next day, and I was getting ready for that. But what we did do is we went and volunteered and helped deliver meals for Master's Table. And so my son that was really feeling disconnected, him and his wife, they came up and went with us. And it was just such a wonderful new thing to do. So we didn't break the tradition of not being together, at least with him, but we did something different, and that a lot of the times people just do not realize when you're struggling, if you're going through depression, if you're, going through grief, if you will volunteer somewhere it will help you. And that is a hard thing, I know, to put yourself out there when you're just having hearts because you're like, what if I start crying? Well, it's okay. If you're, especially if you're around a faith community, you'll have some people there to comfort you, And I mean, but you had the story in there about all these meals being packed. I think it was at Temple Baptist that y'all featured, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but there were a lot of different congregations that did things like that. And there's things like that going on at Christmas too. You can get involved with all kinds of things.
Yeah, Portland has their Hands of Hope, I think is the name of it, and it's a food pantry all year long, where they staff and they run it like a grocery store.
Well, we have the
example.
food bank here. The Cope has I forget exactly the full name of it. Somebody will tell me, but we have the one here that works, and it's again year round. And we also have the one up at our church. Our benevolent center does food year round. So there's all kinds of places where you can volunteer if you really. And I know that Matt Driscoll was saying last night at CR that. Some of them are going to go volunteer actually on Christmas Day at the Union Rescue Mission because there's not a lot of Christmas Day opportunities because a lot of things are shut down, so their staff can be with their family and things like that. But the Union Rescue Mission, it's open all the time, and there's ways you can volunteer there if you want to, if you need to just get connected. I can introduce you to some immigrant families that have no family here, and they would love for you to come love on them. I mean, I'm serious. That's something. If you've got some families that are newcomers to this country, a lot of them, and my Egyptian friends, they leave everything and they come and a lot of the little ones want to kind of attach to me like a grandmother figure because, and I don't get to spend hardly any time with them, but even just that little bit because they miss those older people in their life because they've left them. So, I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities like that because, I mean, my goodness, we are a melting pot in this area. And I mean, beautiful melting pot. But, yeah, there's all kinds of things you could do. Just get outside yourself a little bit and volunteer.
And I think sometimes, like you were talking about having your house perfect, right? Like I feel that. You probably feel that too. And it's the same sometimes when we expand our comfort bubble and we step out into a different community. We can feel like, oh, I need to be this to be able to do that. And really, they just want your time. When we delivered the meals with Temple, the residents they were crying because we were interacting with them. Like, that's all they wanted. It was nothing fancy. I mean, we took teenagers. LaVern, you would have loved it. You would have loved it, you know?
Yeah.
That's what people crave and what they need because a lot of times, whether they've left family or family has left them, right? They need that. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just your intentional time.
And so many people that don't have anyone. Yeah. I was speaking to a friend of mine that has gone through a divorce and, and you could you hear the heaviness in their voice. And I was like, so how are you? Well, I'm okay. Well, we're the children. Well, they're so-and-so. And so I said, well, what are you doing Christmas? Well, I'll be fine. I was like, I don't sound like you're going to be fine. And I said, you need to, call me and you just need to check up on those people because there's so many people, they don't want to intrude on what you're doing, but there are, we've got to just reach out to each other. We have just got to do it because it's so hard. And I told him, I said, we're celebrating Saturday. So I said, we're going to be making the rounds, but if you need just a visit, just let me know. And, and so you just have to, you got to get outside that box, and it's hard. It's hard when you're hurting, it's very hard. But I love the StayPositive.news had some of this stuff in it because this is Dr. Stephanie Evans. I've been meaning to have her come into the school to talk about suicide prevention because this is such a heavy time of the year for so many. And I've kind of hesitated because the kids get a lot of heavy stuff from me because I'm very, I talk to them about addiction and all this, real, because I work with Recovery Court. But so, I'm like, we really need to do this. Especially, I went to a funeral Saturday for a friend of mine whose young son committed suicide. And so it just made me think, I got to get hold of Stephanie. We've got to address this. And it's just, it's such a beautiful, wonderful time of year, but not for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you have to remember.
It is a very lonely time of year for a lot of people. So
But you can go to staypositive.news and it will help you.
And you'll get a
And-
smile.
That's right, absolutely. And I can't say enough about that. Have you seen a difference in your personal lives since your association with staypositive.news?
100%.
Yeah, I think being aware of community and involved in community, having that element and yet remaining positive has been because before just personal choice, I would sometimes like just block out the news because it was toxic, right? And
Yeah.
that affected me very negatively. But now being able to know what's going on and know the stories through that lens of the good that is happening.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. it's
Because
different.
that's one thing I have found myself. I have turned it all off to the point I don't know what's going on sometimes, and I don't like that because I'm a very I'm very committed to we have to pay attention to what's going on around us. We have to take our responsibility. You have to vote. You have to do the things that is in your power to affect and change. But it was just poison to me, and I shut it off. And I know, again, Matt's name's going to come up because he mentions a couple of things on the news last night, and I was like, I didn't even know that was happening. I hadn't heard about that. I was like, I'm in the media. I need to do better. But it's just so hard to turn it on, And I'll look at y'all stuff, and it's all good. But then I haven't heard about this and then that, and then no, I'm like, ah. But so to look at it like you said through the lens of, okay, I got that, but now let's look at some positive stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so-
Makes a difference.
So
Yeah, I mean, I would say I piggyback off that, like all of that. In addition to, I feel like it forces me to be a more positive person just because I am seriously surrounded by it all the time. And then now we've been around for a year and a half, and people come to us now with,
Yeah.
hey, I have this positive story. Hey, I heard this is happening, or this great thing just happened, or this event that's about to happen. Can you get the word out about it for us? I love being that resource for our community. And we even have started to now get some requests for people who need help. And the best part of that is that we are so plugged in now that I know exactly who to reach out to help them. And it's been such a blessing to be a part of that.
that's cool. I mean, and that's true. And that's one thing I've noticed just about being plugged into this show, the resources that I've been made aware of. Tomorrow United Way will come on at 7:30, and they're just the bridge builder to the nonprofits. And they're just so beautiful and brilliant. But they, just being able to know those resources and who to reach out to find help when they need it. And then the way you share the stories, it's just beautiful. So y'all are doing a good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What else do you want
Have
to talk
fun
about
with
this
it.
morning?
Well, there was a really cool story that was given to us again through those relationships, right? There was a journeyman lineman from Chattanooga area. I don't know if you saw that one. And he was seriously injured, received care at TriStar.
Right. I saw part. I don't
Skyline,
think I saw
TriStar,
y'all's story on
Skyline.
it, but yeah.
And it was just a really cool story to see that whole, because that's a long process of healing, right?
Right.
And all of that. But it was so cool to see that, and then to see him and his wife and his daughter celebrating him going home. And those are kind of the fun stories that, I don't
Those
know,
recovery stories that you're like,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh man,
gives
yes.
you hope. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, personally, earlier this year, my mother-in-law went through a series of strokes. And, I can just relate to how that family felt. Like, we were scared for a long time. We didn't know what was going to happen, what the outcome was going to be. Was she going to be able to get back to a normal life? And to see them have such a positive outcome at the end, and we had the same positive outcome. My mother-in-law is doing fantastic right now. And praise God for all of that. But we are so blessed. I think we take this for granted a lot in the United States and the area, especially Middle Tennessee. We have fabulous hospitals.
Oh, that's
here.
just it.
We have
Yeah.
fabulous healthcare here. We are so blessed to be able to do that.
Well, and you've got several stories about the achievements of some of the hospitals in the area, and my kids. I've got 2 kids that work for HCA, and just it's amazing some of the things we have access to through our hospitals. We are so incredibly blessed, and just can't say enough about it, And I think I love seeing those stories about just reminding us just how blessed we are
Mm.
to have the association with our hospitals and North Crest over here in Springfield.
Right around the
Gotta
corner.
love them.
Yeah.
And all the wonderful things they do. So that's my hometown one. What is the ones up in y'all's neighborhoods? What's the names of y'all's hospitals? 'Cause we have-
Gallatin, is that the one? Is that the neighborhood? So we have High Point Health in Gallatin.
Okay,
And then, so that's Sumner Station too.
right,
They're kind of all connected. And then TriStar Hendersonville.
right, right.
And then Skyline.
Skyline, and then we have, like I said, North Crest up here, and
Mhm.
just great people. I mean, I had a little incident with after I had my knee replacements and stuff. I had a hematoma come up on my right knee, and I mean, literally, put me on my face. It was awful, and I had to go in because we didn't know I wasn't having a blood clot, and I can't begin to tell you what a great job they did, and just absolutely, peace of mind immediately. It's not what this is. Let's follow up with your doctor. I mean, just incredible. And I haven't had to go into an emergency room in years and cannot say enough about the amazing experience I had. And we've just got great hospitals.
And the fun part
hospitals.
about what we do too, working with our partners, those that partner with us from the health industry, is you get to know the people
Yeah.
that are in the departments doing the work, and you get to hear their stories, and you get to see, oh my goodness, hospital is a scary place for a lot of people, because when we have to go there, it's not so fun. But then when you get to know the people and the stories, it just helps. We had a friend in the hospital last week, and I was able to text the marketing girl and say, hey, she's here, and she went in and checked on her. I mean, you don't
Oh, wow.
That's
you don't get that
sweet.
everywhere,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
That's
just it
amazing.
makes a difference, that connection with people.
Well, see, and I have two of my daughter-in-laws are nurses, and so getting to know, and I know a lot of nurses, but really getting to know them and from my family perspective, it's just been so beautiful. And just because I know one of my girls, she was working in emergency for a few years, and just seeing just through her eyes, and now my latest girl works with kids in like the trauma unit, or I can't remember exactly, but it's just listening to those girls when they get together and talk, and just listening to their heart and what it takes to be in healthcare. Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. But we appreciate y'all, and I appreciate that you feature them in those stories, because I mean, what's more positive than what we have here?
Yeah.
So very good.
We love to feature the positive stories because you never hear about positive healthcare stories in the
No.
regular news.
No.
They're only going to tell you this happened at the hospital and this person's suing this person. And
Oh,
I mean, because of our relationships with TriStar and High Point Health, like we hear about some of those issues that they combat of trying to, with their marketing department, they're constantly dealing with bad news in the media coming out about them, which a lot of times isn't even true.
mhm.
And so we love partnering with them to tell the positive stories
Right.
that they have.
For sure, for sure. Now, I'll tell you, on the other side of that, I also saw a story that I think is really important, talking about evaluating your insurance at the end of the year. I saw that story,
Yeah.
and that's one of those things that now that I'm older and all that, we're blessed, and I mean, that's something people don't really realize. That is a part. That's one thing I have to walk through with the immigrant families that I know. They get here and they're like, I have to have insurance, and then there's a deductible. They don't understand it, because a lot of them come from socialized medicine, to where you just get in line and wait your turn. And they have gotten accustomed to that. And so they like the fact that it doesn't have the cost that's attached to ours, but then they do like the fact that they can get right in here. So they're kind of trying to weigh the balances of it. And so that's something that's has been really interesting for me, seeing newcomers here and really weighing what's better. And so, but having them, it's like, I have to pay this much. I'm like, yeah, it's called a deductible, and they're just like, oh, I don't understand. And so that's something. And so I love that y'all had a story about that, and just evaluating what's your insurance situation, before you go into the new year. Do you have the proper coverage? I mean, just from everything, from not just health insurance, but, do you have life insurance? If you have family that needs to be, say if something, unforeseen happens, are you covered? And not just in the event of an untimely death, but for disabilities. those kinds of things. And for auto insurance, are you covered? How good your auto insurance? All these things. You really need to take a look at that. So many people, you don't want to find out how things are lacking when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that y'all had a story on that. You
Yeah.
know, that's
Yeah.
something I pay really close attention to. And a lot of it, we were a roofing company for 20 years. You had to,
Oh,
you know, I mean, you just had to. So we learned early on the importance of being properly insured. And, you know, so I've always paid really close attention to it. But I thought, it's time I probably call my insurance agent and go, okay, where are we here, here, and here, just to kind of reevaluate. And I thought that story kind of tweaked that with me,
yeah.
you know.
Mark,
So
Mark was talking about, how rare it is for people you'll have a major life event and you don't even think about it, whether it's the birth of a kid or,
yeah,
you get married, even you're not thinking about it, to call your insurance agent and update everything.
Yeah.
And so just that reminder is really great. And the educational pieces we're able to feature, whether it's banking or insurance or any of that finances, those are fun too for me, because I love learning just things that are good to know that we don't research necessarily on our own, but to be able to learn that from somebody who is also a real face that you can go and talk to is
for sure.
beneficial.
I'm like you. I love learning stuff. I love to learn, and I wish I could just sit and study some days. And of course, I'd probably get tired of it, but I do. If it's something I'm interested in. Now, if it's something you're making me learn, I'm like, but if it's something that I'm interested in, and that's what's cool about going, to staypositive.news, you can look through the list. You can, just click. They've got the banners up it works really well. The website works really great, guys. But you've got sections where you can go in just to the positive news and kind of see the news of the day. You can, if you want to see all the articles, if you want to look at the sports side of it, y'all have a market section. Of course, Miss Mabel, one of my favorites. And I also love your Student of the Month features and your Written by the Readers features too. And that's one I keep saying I'm going to contribute something to your Written by the Readers, and I will.
Waiting for that.
I know. I'll have you something. I promise. I'll have you something next year to submit and see what you think. But it's just been a busy year.
We need to get Chris, and I've told him this before, but I'm going to remind him. Our editor, Chris Valines, is a teacher now
With me.
Oh,
and he teaches English. So we need to get him to nudge
Yes.
some of his students to
yes.
enter.
Oh, that would be super fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris,
That's a
if you're
great
listening,
idea. He is probably he may be on lunchroom duty, where the kids are coming in the morning, a lot of the
Oh,
times,
yeah.
because I never get the blessing of that, but I hear all kinds of fun stories where the kids are coming in and the teachers, because you have to have so many teachers there to greet them and keep an eye on them until the bell rings and they go to class. So I bet Mr. V is out there doing that right now. Wouldn't be surprised, but he's such a great guy. I'm just so tickled to have him there. It's just so much fun, and he's really plugging in. I see him at all kinds of events, or I see pictures of him at all kinds of events, because I don't see him because I've not been there this year, because I've been just so pulled away with other things. I'm graduating tonight, by the way, with my teaching license and all of that. Tonight's the night, y'all.
Yay.
So I got to go to Murfreesboro tonight and get all that done, and I'm just like, yes. So
Yay.
no more having to study things I don't want to study. That's
where that was
coming
Okay.
from. Because while I needed it and I learned a lot, it was just like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to I don't want to have to go through anything else about writing lesson plans and all of that. I got it.
Yeah.
Sort of. But anyway, no, I do. I'm working on it. But building curriculum and mapping your standards and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, what does it mean to give a student the proper amount of rigor? And teachers go, yes, I hate that word. But anyway, these are teacher terms that I've learned what they mean now. But yeah, I'm officially graduating tonight. So
congrats.
yay, I'm so excited. But Mr. Valines, he has been a lot of fun, and I just love this. We talk about my husband and Mr. Valines, Chris. We've all retired into teaching. We're retirement age, and so now we're retired into teaching, and we're there because we love these kids.
And I know
And,
you really inspired him
and that
to
just
make that transition,
I just I
which is
just
super cool.
I just that just made my heart so full. But when he told me he was going to teach English, I'm like, that's a tested subject, Chris. That's hard. I'm teaching audio video. You know, it's like it's like the fun class. It's not the one that you're tested on. And my husband's criminal justice, so these are things that again we have of course he has a passion for English, and my original intent was to be an ELL teacher. I wanted to go in and work with English language learners, and I was going to have to go back to school like he is because he's having to go and he's having to do much more than I will have to do education wise. So I really admire him for that. That's a commitment. That's a big commitment. So pray for him. It's a lot. Some days I see him and you can just see it's like, because there's so much that you don't know about the behind the scenes of teaching, the things, the paperwork, and just all the things. And it's just hard to explain until you're in it, and it's a lot. And God bless him. He's such a great guy though.
He is.
Such a great guy. But what else we want to talk about, ladies? I do need to do a break, but we can hold for a minute. What else have you guys have got on your mind?
Well, did you see the story about the Heritage High School golfer that was the first in Robertson County? Yeah, to claim a state title.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Golf.
Yeah. I know.
I can't imagine. Are y'all golfers?
No.
My husband and boys are,
Okay.
which I love because I get time by myself on the weekends.
Go
and-
golf.
Hours,
so,
right.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. It's
Yes.
like y'all go golf with dad.
But golf is a huge sport. It's getting
Yeah.
bigger. A lot more golf scholarships
Yes.
on
Yeah.
the horizon. My husband's already got plans for our kids. Like, okay, we're gonna do this much golf, and they're gonna get scholarships to go to this school. And I'm like, okay,
Sure.
let's
Go
do
for
it.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I couldn't tell you the first thing about golfing. I think the only time I've played putt putt. I've done that.
Yeah.
I've never hit a golf ball on a golf course. I know we had a radio event one time, and I don't even know where it was, but they had like a virtual where you could hit the golf tee and all that. I was terrible. My coworkers are like, LaVern, you can't even do that because I'm like this big athletic. They're like, you should be a natural at this. I'm like, yeah, never touched a golf club except for a putt putt. And they were wanting me to do this whole, the open and drive or whatever. And I was like, I don't know. My husband likes to play. But that's cool. So tell me a little bit about this young man that won this honor.
Well, a little backstory that I'll share because I just think it's so cute. So he, after winning the state, he loves golf. He's obsessed with golf, right? I think you have to be to grow and all of that. So after winning state, he comes back to the high school and, he just walks in and he opens his backpack and he's got the plaque or the trophy or whatever you call it, right? And he pulls it out and he puts it on the desk and he goes, I don't know what to do with that now.
How funny.
And they were like, okay, let's display it.
Yeah. That's
He was
just
like,
it.
I don't know what to do with it. We're
That's
moving on to
hysterical.
the next thing.
But that's great. I mean,
Super
that's
cute.
so exciting. That is so exciting. And I think I would have enjoyed golf. I think I would have. I think I would have. I've got my friend Paul Rainey that's on here every morning with me. One of their grandsons is golfing and doing really well.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, golf, really? Okay, and they're like, sure, let's go. And they go to the golf course and they have to be really quiet and watch. I can't imagine. I can just see his wife Mary not going, yay!
Yeah. Yeah, how hard would that be?
Yeah,
right?
I would have a really hard time, and he's got to be laughing because he knows I'm right. You get excited, and it's like you gotta hold it in a little bit,
Yeah.
hold it in a little bit on the golf course. But that's just it. I would have never thought about golf being such a big sport.
Yeah.
And who did I have a conversation with? Oh, well, Dr. Weeks was in yesterday, our director of schools for Robertson County. And the conversation was talking about, we have a lot of arts programs going on. Greenbriers is on Thursday night. We're having our fall arts festival. And so you'll have, singing and music and, band and all the things. And of course, our artists, the ones that can draw and paint and sculpt and do all that. So you'll have all of that featured. And he was like, did you do a lot of that when you were a kid? I was like, no. Because I grew up, I didn't have access to stuff. I couldn't, we had basketball and we had baseball and softball. And that was it for sports. I grew up in rural Western Kentucky, just outside of Mayfield, and you just didn't have it. I didn't know the first thing about golf. I couldn't imagine, swimming. I mean, I was an avid swimmer. I would have loved to have been on a swim team or something like that. Didn't have a clue about any of that stuff. So the things that they have access to, golf teams, and we have bowling teams. They're in bowling tournaments right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All the kids are in bowling tournaments, and that's so much fun.
Yeah.
And they're having a blast with that. I just love that they can do all that.
Mm-hmm.
Love that they can do all that. And I don't know, is there any other odd sports that you maybe have, because I know golf and bowling are kind of unusual.
I was gonna say bowling, yeah.
Well, do y'all have any archery and
The middle school does.
yeah.
Or they did. They
Okay.
did when our girls were there,
Yeah.
which was just starting. And
See, I think
pretty
that's a
cool.
cool one.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. But there's
Yeah.
just all kinds of them. The wrestling's going on right now, and I know I
Yes.
think we've got some girl wrestlers
Yes.
at Greenbrier, and if I'm not
I
mistaken,
think Heritage does
And Heritage,
too.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
they have some
Yeah.
good girl wrestlers at Heritage.
yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool. But I mean, and we have robotics. That is a competition that, because I've got Coach Luke Watts next door to me in my classroom, and they just, have so much fun with the robots and all that. One of our Pakistani exchange student is in the robotics club, and she just wants to be in everything. She comes in the other day, she goes, "I'm gonna start playing basketball," and I'm like, "Are you?" Because they've already got the teams and all that. They're gonna let her kind of practice with them, but she just wants to experience everything, and it's hysterical. But yeah, it's so
That's awesome.
funny. Yeah, it's fun. Okay, we're talking with Rachel Allison and Sarah
Ricciardi.
Ricciardi. I knew I was going to say it wrong. I started just to say Ricciardi, but it looks different than that when you look at it. They're with staypositive.news and talking about all the positive things in the world and this wonderful organization that was put together a little over a year and a half ago, really.
Yep.
And all the cool things that they're doing in the community and how you can have that positive news influence in your life. And it certainly helps with so much of the things out there that we really just are like, I don't want to look at that today. And so if you're needing some positive news in your life, this is a great place to find it. Staypositive.news. We're going to pause, talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. My friends in real estate, they've been our longest running full-time sponsor. Appreciate them so much. And let me mention again, looking for some new sponsors for one street over. If you would like to be one of our sponsors, just reach out to me. We've got a couple of avails right now, so we'd love to plug you in. But Barry and Rebecca, they've been at this a long time, and I just they're just absolutely the full deal when it comes to anything that you need to check into for real estate, whether you're buying or selling. Maybe you don't even know how much house you qualify for. You can sit down and they'll help walk you through that. If you're older and you're thinking, maybe I need to sell land because I don't really know that my kids are going to want to do anything with the land, and you're wanting to see about the nuances of all that, Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, so she can specifically help you with that. Barry, that marketing experience, cannot say enough about what they bring to the table with his marketing background for nearly 17 years, was a vice president of a media marketing company. When I have camera questions, it's the first call I make is to Barry, and he has helped me amazingly. He taught me to fly a drone, all those things. He does the drone footage, he came in and showed my kids how they do walkthrough tours, just to kind of help them understand that audio video goes into every aspect. There is not a job that you can't bring audio video into, and he just displayed that beautifully. And it's so important in the real estate world to make sure that your property is seen in the best light, because you may only get one shot. Because people flip through those listings so fast that if it doesn't pop, if you don't have the right photography and videography, the walkthrough tours, drone footage, you may not get another look. He has his brokerage office here in Springfield, and she has her agency office up in White House. They combine those two to bring you a new branch in the exit tree. They are Exit Prime Realty. If you want to reach out to them, you can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-Y, robertscounty.com. They're in Cross Plains, have been for nearly 30 years. They're originally from Kentucky, though, so while they specialize in Robertson County properties, they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Or here is Rebecca's number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always please let them know that you turned
carriage rides downtown. I think it is is the cutest idea. The horse-drawn carriage rides.
That is something that they've been doing. I'm wanting to say this is the third year.
I think you're right.
And I think it's about the third year. And it was I think I kind of want to give credit to Ace Timbermeyer. I don't know. And it may have been something, it may have been Chamber. And I don't know who had the idea. And Ace would tell you very quickly who came up with it. But it was just an idea to promote the downtown. And the way they've done it the last couple of years is you would show up about 4:00 and you'd put your name on a list and you'd come back for your ride. They are now doing it as an online sign up and it's already booked. Yeah. You won't, because I saw where y'all put it out and it just boom. It went very quickly. And I think it's a good idea. And as they do it year after year, people will know you need to sign up early online. But I've been telling everybody, don't just show up down there. Now, if you want to take a chance and see if somebody doesn't show up and you might can get on a waiting list, but it's booked. And for the last 2 years, not this year, but the two prior years, they had it on my birthday. My birthday is December 8th.
Aw.
So happy belated.
Thank you very much. It was Sunday. And so for my 60th birthday, I got to have a carriage ride around downtown. And I was so excited. It was just such a special way to celebrate. And then on my 61st birthday, we did the same thing. We had a carriage ride for my birthday. Aww. So it was really special. I mean, I don't even know if they did it this year because we were up with our kids in Nashville. So, but, it was super special and it's just fun. And it's a quick little ride around the square, but it's just Christmas. It's just so Christmassy and just so warm and fuzzy. And if you're not on the list to ride, just go down there and just kind of walk around and watch and see the horses and pet the horses and just talk to the, but it is great. It is great. I love it. It's we really love our town. We really do.
It's so cute. I love it every time I come up here. Yeah.
Thank you.
And the decorations for Christmas. My husband, so when he proposed, he took me on a carriage ride downtown Austin. So it wasn't Springfield, but so it's just kind of like, it's so fun.
That's so
I'll have to send him
sweet.
the link next year, right? So
That's just it, and get it going for sure. So
Get
did
it
he happen to propose around Christmas?
No, it was the middle of summer. Yeah, it was really hot in Austin, but
Yeah. But
he wanted to know what would I consider the perfect date, and that was part of it because I grew up with horses. So
nice.
wanted the horse-drawn carriage experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cute. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. And that's the thing. And the folks that do the carriage rides here in Springfield, I think they're connected with some of them that do them in Nashville. So there are places, if you missed out on this one, you can get them. I don't know about doing one in Nashville. Wow, it's a crazy place.
Yeah.
I just to have spent so much time in Nashville, I never go anymore. Somebody will go, well, you need to come. Of course, I do for church, and I'm there all the time still. But I used to be there every day.
Yeah.
And it's just not and I'm thrilled that it's booming and doing all that, but it's just almost like New York now. It seems, and I've never been to New York, but
Right.
I don't know. I guess all the crazy bachelorette parties and all that. It's just like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Your mom and daddy know what you're up to?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
Probably not.
Probably not. So, but yeah, it's the city that did it, but I can't tell you for sure whose idea.
Yeah.
It was.
I
But,
love,
it's
I love
cool.
it. And then you guys had like a cookie and cocoa crawl too, which is all the businesses
Yeah.
right around the square. Just so cute. Cute ways to celebrate.
Well, and we have our Winter Wonderland that opened this. We have
At
it
the J. Travis?
Yes, at Travis Price Park, and it is a free drive-through all the way up till the 23rd. I think is the last night because they don't have it open for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, of course, and they actually have a walkthrough. This Saturday will be your last chance to walk through. This past weekend, we had, of course, the parade. Our parade is just the most awesome thing because it's lit up. It's just beautiful in our square. It's just absolutely beautiful. So they had the parade, and then you had the walkthrough down at the park, and then of course the Historic Society had their stuff on Sunday as well. They have a map of historic homes you can go and look at, and so we just got all kinds of cool stuff. But we do have another walkthrough for Winter Wonderland Saturday night.
Okay.
So you can do that, but then you can drive through anytime. And go to the museum when they're, and hit the gift store, because if you're looking for unique Robertson County gifts, that's where you're going to find them. And they're just Janet does a great job of keeping that place stocked up with just cool stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Super
ladies,
fun.
what else we got here? We got about 4 minutes. It's all y'all.
All right. So we also, Stay Positive News collaborated with White House Chamber of Commerce for their Live, Love, Local. I may be messing up the title. The little, glossy magazine that comes out every quarter. They started doing it for the first time. And so we were able to kind of get a behind the scenes peek at a couple Mexican restaurants. Well, one's just a restaurant. And the other one is like a grocery slash,
Oh, fun.
what do you call it when you're picking up food too, like to go? I don't know. But anyway, it was really fun to get to know the stories behind the establishments. And so De La Paz is one that I'm sure people know about. It's been around for 30 years. And it was super fun to just hear why in the world, why White House 30 years ago? And then to hear about how they continue and just that relationship with the community and how they give back. And it was just a lot of fun to be a part of that project. So
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
So we're starting to publish those stories now because they're officially released.
I love it. So, and I love finding out about all of our little restaurants and things around town. I'll tell you one, y'all need to do a story on Fortune Village. We call it Blue Roof here in Springfield, but they're just a sweet place, and they're only takeout now. That's one of our biggest things. We used to go in there all the time, but they're just takeout only now. And we were through there one day and Ying was like, why are you not coming in anymore? And it's like, well, we can't come in and sit down, but it's a takeout. So, and it's just the best Chinese food here in town. I mean, and they've been around forever. And that would be another one to feature if you want to feature some of these, because some of these restaurants, Torino's, I mean, oh my gosh, they've been around forever. We've got the new ones that are coming along and everybody's like, oh, have you been to this one? But what about these ones that have been here forever? And something I found out about Torino's, and I forget the man's name. I've had him on that runs it now, but he was the one that came into Master's Table and coordinated all of the plating of the food and just did all of that. He came in and volunteered on Thanksgiving morning and just facilitated that because he's a food service
That's
guy.
awesome.
And he was the maestro or the that did what do you call it?
Coordinator.
Is it the maestro that directs the Is that
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's what he-
Conductor.
But I got so tickled. I wasn't in that. I was just on the delivery end, but I heard from them. They said it was like, okay, watch your portions. You do this, and he's like, he's got it all laid out. So I just think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, Lee Marie, it's Wednesday. That's right. The Go Show is coming up here in just a minute. So you got another hour of wonderful local programming from Lee Marie and the Go Show. So I hope you'll stick around. Any parting thoughts, ladies?
No, just encouraging people, like we talked about in the beginning, right, to stay connected with one another, especially during the holidays, and to find a place to plug in and serve if you haven't, because it really does fill your spirit too. And anything else?
Stay positive.
Yeah.
.news. There you go. And by the time I see y'all again, it'll be the new year.
That's so exciting.
Oh, how about that?
I'm looking forward to 2025.
Well,
It'll be a
yeah, because
great
you're
year.
moving and all that. We'll be praying for you, sweet
Thank
girl.
you.
Oh my goodness, Rachel.
been a
I mean,
process.
when you were unpacking, having to move, on January 3rd?
Yeah.
Are you even
fine.
decorating for Christmas?
We are. We decorated early,
Okay.
just knowing it's going to be the last in this house.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We'll just take it all down.
And pack it.
Our buyers are being super gracious. They're giving us like 3 days to move out. So they're not going to take possession of the home until January 6th. So it takes a lot of pressure off of us. We're
that
super
does.
grateful for their generosity with that. But yeah, it's a lot.
How far away are you moving? Is it
10
nearby?
minutes down the road.
Oh, that's just it, yeah.
I'm going back to Hendersonville. We lived in Hendersonville before. We're in Gallatin right now.
Okay.
I love
Just
both
down the road.
cities,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we wanted to stay in the same school district.
Sure.
So, that worked out that way.
Very good. Well,
Yeah.
good luck.
Thank you.
God bless you. And have a wonderful Christmas, you guys. Thank y'all
Yes,
for
you
coming
too.
so much. And if you
Thank
need
you.
anything, just yell at me. And again, just stick around, you guys, because we've got the Go Show coming up with my sweet friend Lee Marie right after this. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.